Hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. It's been a while since I've seen you. A couple of updates. New setting, obviously. I made it to college. I really am enjoying my time here. I'm very grateful and very blessed that I got the room that I wanted. I went through it for a month in another dorm, but now I'm here. The last time that I saw you, I had just read The Virgin Suicides, and I think I gave that book a 4 out of 5 stars, maybe a 3. It wasn't necessarily life-changing, but I was just looking for something like a short little book to tide me over until I got here, so I could read something more expansive and more like dense. Which brings me to this book review, but how do we feel about the earrings? That's another something that I decided to do recently. I did pierce my ears. I got it done professionally. They were supposed to heal for about 6 to 8 weeks before I changed them, but I had studs in them before, and they were silver, and I don't like silver. So I just went to the local TJ Maxx and got some huggy hoops that I think look better. Anyway, so yeah, I can give you a little bit of a room tour real quick, I guess. This is my bed, and then I have like my desk and stuff over there, and then I have my like TV area, my my shoe shelf, my mini fridges down there, and then in that hallway over there I have my bathroom and my closet. So now we're going to be talking about like what this video is actually for. I did finally read Katabasis, and I think that this book has changed a couple of things for me in my perspective. I recently watched Dylan Joseph's video where he said that he hated this book, but I think that I'm gonna have to disagree. I am gonna give it 5 stars. I did so on Goodreads, and I'm gonna stick with that because in my life, not the same as this main character, but a main theme of my life I have felt so far is the sheer force of the indomitable human spirit, and like the drive and the force that keeps us all alive and moving and pushing towards our goals. And I think for a while, to get a little bit philosophical and deep, I was struggling with like what to do, what was the purpose of life, and truly like where I fit in. But reading this book has helped me realize like I want to do good for the world, and I also was thinking about like what would my purpose be in the afterlife, like what would I say that I was working towards on earth. And I truly want the legacy that I leave behind to be that I help people, everywhere that I went, that I help people no matter what, that I did whatever it took to help people. And so I just really enjoyed the book. I have a couple of notes. I'm not gonna go over like the entire synopsis and like the entire plot, but spoiler warning, I am going to be talking about spoilers. If you have not read Katabasis, I will give like warning in a few minutes for when I get into spoilers. I really enjoy, this is my first R.F. Kuang book. I have not read Yellowface, I have not read Poppy War Trilogy. This was my first introduction into R.F. Kuang. It's 1 a.m. by the way, so if I seem a little bit, it's because I am. And I still haven't showered today, so I might have to do that after I finish. Anyway, this was a really good book. I liked her writing style. I liked that she made it, I don't know, whenever I saw the synopsis, it said dark academia, enemies to lovers, or dark academia, friends to love, whatever, like, you know, like dark academia, but then romance. And so I was expecting dark academia, like enemies to whatever, you know? Reading this did not feel like a romance novel. It did not feel like a romance novel. For the first chunk of the book, I would say until about page 150, I was fully on Alice's side and did not believe that she had flaws. I was like, wow, they're really making her out to be like this character that is so like picture perfect, but then eventually on in the story you see that R.F. Kuang writes realistic characters, and like I truly believe that like these people make mistakes, these people are human, and it's so refreshing to see like not just an underdog and not just a hero. Like she wrote both of the characters so beautifully. Obviously Alice is the main character, but I also got some good quotes out of this book that I managed to put in my quote thing, so I'm really excited that I read this. Yeah. I don't really know what else to say for the non-spoilery people, so it was a good book. If you are a fan of dark academia, this was amazing. It did get like kind of gory in some parts, which obviously doesn't bother me because I want to go into healthcare, but I guess if you are squeamish for that kind of stuff, it does kind of get a little bit. And also it talks about hell a lot, and I know that a lot of religious people would have a field day with this book, so keep that in mind whenever you're reading this. But to me, it was perfect because I have felt before like what some of the characters are going through with the quest for acceptance and acknowledgement in the academic community, and just approval from everyone else on what you're working on and what you're doing. And I think that I at one point craved it so bad, and then the story like flipped on its head, like, and just changed into something completely different, and I really appreciated that. So yeah. Alright, so now I'm going to be getting into the spoilery part of the video. So if you have not read this book, click off. Thank you. Guys, for those of you that stayed, this book, holy hell was it good. No pun intended. I loved this book. From the beginning, like I mentioned in the non-spoilery part, whenever I got to see the humanizing part of Alice, whenever she got to the apple trap of like red versus green, and the deity, like the spinster deity, was like, you and Peter both have to pick an apple. I was fully expecting her to pick the same apple, and I thought that he was going to be the one to betray her, and she was going to have to find her way out. I was not at all expecting her to be the one that betrayed him. That was crazy. And then finding out like that Peter was gonna betray her. Oh my, like plot twist after plot. R.F. Kuang, you have gained a fan. Like maybe I need to pick up the Poppy War now. Maybe. I loved the uncertainty of like every character that we met. Are they good? Are they bad? I truly was on the edge of my seat seeing what new characters were going to like harm her, or, and it was crazy that most of the harmful characters in the end, really, truly, she had always known, right? Like Grimes, like, I mean, obviously when he was like trying to sexually assault her or whatever, and was like, I know you want this, and she was like, no, I don't. Like, that is just crazy that he was the devil all along, really. Like, metaphorically, if you think about it, Lord Yama is the Lord of the Underworld, but I mean, like, the whole time, what her purpose and like what was holding her back was Grimes's approval. And so to be able to let go of that addiction that you had for acknowledgement opens up a whole new world. And obviously it's not going to get a sequel. Obviously it's not going to get a sequel because this is a standalone and there was no cliffhanger. But like I would what I would give for another chapter to see like what Alice and Peter are doing now, like that would have been the perfect book to me. I think that's what I look for in a romance. I don't want them to get together at the very, very end. I want them to get together and then me to see a chapter of them living happily. And then maybe some turmoil to open up the possibility for a sequel, but not that one's needed. Nonetheless, this was a 5 out of 5. I loved it. I was obsessed whenever Peter sacrificed himself and I finally got to see that in his spirit he loved Alice. Like, I think up until that point I had doubted that he really liked her because like obviously we're told it's enemies to lovers, whatever. But I really did doubt. And then getting the flashback in that moment, I'm pretty sure, of his backstory and learning like all that he had done. Oh, y'all, learning that he had like a chronic illness and that's why he was always not showing up and ditching people, and that's why he had ghosted Alice that one time and he didn't even notice and he couldn't make an excuse for it because then he would be pitied, so he had to keep it all to himself. It's all just so amazing. Like, that is the indomitable human spirit that we see over and over in this book. And then for Alice to immediately, she says that she loses her will to live, but the only reason that she lives on is for Peter. Yes, sister, thank you. I was obsessed with how the story took its turn once she lost Peter. Her having to go to the 8th court alone and her meeting, what was his name? Gratis, John Gratis. Her meeting Gratis. Oh my gosh. I'm so scared Gratis was gonna try and sabotage her. And he didn't. I mean, I guess like in hell it works differently and not everybody is good or bad. And obviously people are actually morally gray like they are in the real world. But for him to just like think that she's interesting and amusing, but also like to be there for her and congratulate her, and like ultimately I believe whatever part he had in it is what sent him across the lathe. So loved that. Loved Elspeth coming back and getting Alice and being set on her own journey, her sacrificing the Dialetha for Alice and Peter to be able to return home. Oh, my heart, my heart, my heart. It was so good. Guys, it was amazing. Like, truly, and I don't say this lightly, like, I can't rave enough about it. It may be in my top 10 books of all time. It may be. So I think that I would have to say A Little Life, The Little Friend, A Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires. I think that's what it's called. A Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires. Yeah. Scarescape. More Happy Than Not. It's 5. Let me go for my other 5. Okay, I figured out my other 5. So my remaining 5 are gonna be, so I said More Happy Than Not, Scarescape, A Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires, A Little Life, and The Little Friend. To add to that, for my top 10 to round it off, I'm gonna say Red Rising, Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. What was the other one that I literally just looked up? I'm definitely gonna say Katabasis is in there. The Book Thief, and then Red, White, and Royal Blue to round out my top 10. Not in that order, obviously. But right now, as my top 10 stands, those are gonna be it. If you're wondering what I'm gonna be reading next, why don't I just show you? I only have 5 books that I brought with me to college, but one of the 5 will have to do. So truly, I don't know what kind of mood I'm in, but the only books that I have with me, the only books that I have with me right now are The Secret History, Dawn of Tart. This is kind of like an unknown book, but The Genius Play by David Walton. I was just mesmerized by the concept. It's just basically about this virus that makes everybody really smart and tries to like take over the world by infecting all the people and making them smart. Really cool concept, I thought. The Last Murder at the End of the World by Stuart Turton, without looking. Basically is about this one island that's left and the people have to solve a mystery. So, love a good mystery book. This is the one that I'm most thinking about reading next, even though it is the longest, but I think it would be the most impactful to me. The Jungle by Upton Sinclair. It's just about capitalism and the economy and the working class, and I think that this would be beautiful to read. And then last but not least, I have White Album by Joan Didion. This is just basically Joan talking about like stuff that was going on in the 60s. So I don't know what I'll read next. I might even go buy a new book. Maybe I'm not feeling any of these. But I am gonna try and probably read one of them, and if that doesn't work, then I'll go buy something. But the contenders are kind of looking like, after I just read that gargantuan beast of a book, the White Album seems like a good pick. I kind of would like to hold off on either of these because they're over 400. Well, actually, I mean, yeah, because this one is 380. So, and then this one's over 600, I'm pretty sure. 550. So, basically, I want to punish myself by only reading, like, long books. So, these are the 2 that, like, I guess are the shortest. And so I guess by, like, what I was saying, I guess this would be the one that I'm reading next. But I may go to a bookstore and buy another book because I just really, really, really want to be able to choose what I read. And, like, I love the thought of reading all of these books. However, after I just read this beast, I low-key don't. I'm gonna have to research that before I go to bed, actually. I need to go take a shower. This was such a good book, y'all. If you haven't read this, $32. Did I actually pay $32 for this? Surely not. Oh my gosh. I guess I did pay $32 for this. Worth it for a 5-star. I'll probably give this to some. No, I'm not gonna give it away, actually. I love this book. I'm gonna start keeping my books because the other day, had a thought of like books that I gave away, and I'm like, well, I don't remember them because I gave them away. And now, oh my gosh. And I want to put Ender's Game in my top 10. What book could I kick out? Probably The Book Thief. Ender's Game over The Book Thief in my top 10. Ender's Game is so good if you guys haven't read that either. I'm just sci-fi. But yeah, so that's going to do it for me in this video. Here are, oh gosh. Here are me and all of my future babies. I don't know which one I'm going to read next, so I know nobody's watching this, but comment down below which one I should read next. The one with the sprayed edges or one of the regular books. They're all so pretty. Like, I just love a good book cover. I love how this one is. I'm rambling. We're gonna cut this off. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new here, subscribe, comment down below. Let me know which books you have read that you love that I haven't read. Follow me on Goodreads if you can find me. And then also just remember to have a good day. Take care of yourself. Take care of one another, and just be kind, because we don't have that much life, and so we have to make it all count. That sounds so corny, but that book really did help me realize, like, I should be doing something with every single day that I have, and so should you. So with that, take what you will. I hope you guys are all having a great day or night. I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.